recollections may vary. A royal recap. I'm Kinsey Schofield here with Kevin O'Sullivan. You watch us together on The Political Asylum with Kevin O'Sullivan. Double the trouble, double the fun. Kevin, there's no bigger story in town. 5 years since Megxit, and this is all Meghan Markle has to offer. Are you shocked?
I don't think I'm shocked because I couldn't see what else she would have in her armoury. What has she got left? Not very much. But what she's offering the public, you know, the new Meghan, this is the new invention, is pathetic. It's pathetic. You know, a sort of stupid show where she's baking cakes for her mates in California, wearing Cartier and designer jewellery and flashy clothes. As she said, I like to take the ordinary and elevate it into something special, as I said to you the other night, but enough about Harry. But some of the comments are quite right. Somebody said, yeah, I like to take the ordinary and elevate it to something special. So I like to make scrambled egg in someone else's house with my hair dangling into it. I mean, you know, that by the way, Kinsey, a massive mistake on her part. She should have filmed it in her own house, in her own home. But the fact that we know she effectively went to another house because she's so obsessed with her alleged privacy, to film this domestic goddess nonsense undermines it altogether. So she said, oh, it's my house, isn't it lovely? Look, here's where I live and my lovely kitchen. No, it's not. It's a studio, and you're pretending it's your house. So don't give us this claptrap. So that undermines it. And what, as I said to you the other night on my show, Kinsey, what she doesn't understand is in order to be successful in show business, in order to make successful programs or successful movies, you have to make them not boring. That's the whole point of entertainment. Don't bore people. Don't make tedious programs. Now, a bunch of white, rich women tootling around a pretend house, you know, baking cakes and just saying, I'm going to make this hummus really special by putting olive oil in it. Oh, wow, revolutionary, amazing. Oh, look, and I've got these little ladybirds, and I put a little bit of balsamic vinegar on the back, and it looks like a ladybird. By the way, she stole that idea from someone else. You know, who on earth does she think she's broadcasting to? Who on earth does she think is going to watch this and say, I must be just like Meghan? This is nonsense, and it's boring. It's really, really boring. Therefore, it will fail.
Yeah, well, you know, you and I were just sharing with each other this. There's a news story circulating about one of Meghan's acquaintances, because she has very few friends, defending her online over this eater.com, which is a very well-respected website. Their kind of savage review over the trailer. And one of the lines is, according to Deadline, according to Dateline is my favorite murder show, conveniently. According to Deadline, Markle hopes to reimagine the genre of lifestyle programming based on the trailer. What that looks like is a lot of celebrity cameos, glimpses of breathtaking California coastlines, and intimate glimpses into life with Markle, her prince husband, and their adorable children. It also, unfortunately, looks incredibly dull. Well, while that is a beautiful description, and you are admitting that it is dull, I guarantee you are not going to see the kids, because as you said, there's nothing genuine about this. She's in a fake kitchen. These are Pinterest recipes and designs and floral arrangements. There's nothing authentic and there's nothing original about this. Is Netflix regretting any or all of their relationship with Harry and Meghan?
Well, think about it. Most of the publicity about this new series, which we know has been in the can now for quite a few months. So Netflix was so excited about it, they just left it lying there for about 4 months. So it's finally ready to, or they're going to screen it at last. I think they're doing it almost reluctantly. Think about all the publicity. It's all coming from Meghan. You know, there she is on the beach, 2025. And then suddenly the trailer, You know, I like to elevate and make people think I'm thinking of them. It's not about perfection.
Thomas Markle is patiently waiting to feel like you're thinking about him, Meghan, but thanks.
Yeah, it's not about perfection, it's about joy. What is the point? What is the point of watching a program based on an amateur cook, you know, who can bake an okay cake and put some olive oil in hummus? Well, I don't want to watch programs that give me mediocrity. It should be about perfection. Forget the joy. Show us how to do it properly. You can't do that, Meghan, because you don't know how to do it properly. Have you seen her chopping? You know, I mean, you know, when you see the proper chefs, you know, she's like me, you know. You know, I mean, she's got no. She's an amateur cook. She's obviously quite a good amateur cook. That is not the basis of a TV series. And as I say, it will alienate most people because they'll go, while I'm struggling to get by, while I'm struggling to feed the kids and keep a roof over my head, this woman is getting all her designer label chums round to a pretend house to make all these luxury items for them to eat and drink. It will alienate people. I think people won't only be bored by this program, they'll be angered by it, they'll be infuriated by it. She is so tone deaf, it's breathtaking. She's tone deaf.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the timing. Oh, I'm coming back onto Instagram. Oh, would this be the social media you left so poignantly a few years back because you said it was a centre for online harm and you were making the gesture, I'm not going to be on social media anymore because it's bad for kids? Well, guess what? Suddenly she needs it. She's got to promote her program. I'm coming back to Instagram. Isn't that great? So there's that hypocrisy. And then the timing of it, straight after the New Orleans and the Las Vegas terrorist horrors, where people died, including the godmother of the stepson of the godmother of her son Archie. She's on telly, you know, a couple of days later going, oh, go make some cakes. Isn't it lovely? Yeah, it's disgusting. It's disgusting, Kinsey.
It's disgusting. And then the fact that William and the Prince and Princess of Wales released a statement saying that they were devastated over the loss. Silence from Harry and Meghan, Kevin. She could have quickly saved face by releasing a heartfelt statement about that incident, about Archie's godmother, and she didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, where the hell are her public relations team right now? Are they locked in a basement with her homemade wine, with her homemade rosé? I mean, where are they? Because all they had to say was, we are devastated over this. And don't forget, New Orleans is Tyler Perry's hometown, Lily's godfather. So if Meghan wanted to launch her Instagram, if she was contractually obligated to launch an Instagram, she could have done it in a way where she was creating some sort of campaign for New Orleans or promoting an existing GoFundMe for New Orleans. And we could not critique her over that because she does have a connection to New Orleans. It's it's her daughter's godfather's hometown. That would make sense to me.
Yeah.
And the fact that she'll show up in Texas after a mass shooting with a camera crew, but silence when she actually has a connection to someone in New Orleans. It's what is going on?
As I say, her timing, her sense of timing, her bad timing is staggering. And I don't know what goes on up in her head, but she ought to think about this kind of thing. You know, any sane showbiz personality would go, hang on, straight after a terrorist attack, 10, 12 people died, you know, including the stepson of the godmother of our son. No, now is not the time. Leave it a week. Leave it a week, by all means. You know, you don't have to leave it a year. Leave it a week. Then, you know, that would be appropriate. Launching this ridiculous program right in the aftermath of that atrocity, when all America is shocked. She's got a personal stake in some of the tragedy, one of the tragedies. Launching it then, as I say, I'm staggered. I can't believe that she did that. Has she got no sense at all? No sense of propriety, no sense of what's right. And frankly, even on a cynical level, you know, in showbiz, timing is everything. and you've got to be ready to withdraw if you need to, and she should have withdrawn then. But now she's laid, in my view, the foundation stone for what will be a probable disaster. People will tune in to episode 1. Episode 2, my prediction, not so much.
Yeah, it's hard to. My issue is it's hard to believe that anything coming from her is authentic when she's dragging these underprivileged children by their arms in third world countries while wearing $7,000 worth of clothing alone. That doesn't even count the jewelry on her body. And then in this trailer, she's like, I love for my friends to know. I like to do little things so my friends know that I'm thinking about them. And this push for us to believe that these two individuals are so compassionate and empathetic, and let's pretend to forget what they did to Queen Elizabeth towards the last, her last few breaths. Let's pretend to forget what she did to Prince Philip as he sat dying in a hospital bed. They are completely self-consumed, and here we are, 2025, new year, new me. Meghan is leaking to Page Six that it's going to be all about the Markle sparkle in 2025. There's nothing new about you. You are, you continue to be so self-involved. If you were as empathetic and compassionate as you say you are, what were you doing for New Orleans last week? And I mean, to me, it's too little too late. She could show up there tomorrow and I'm like, I've seen everything I need from you. You were frolicking on a beach while Archie's godmother was grieving her stepson. I don't want to hear it. She had a hold of that Instagram account, Kevin, since 2022. What's one more day? You've had that Instagram account has existed for almost 3 years. What is one more day? And like you said, they've been so secretive about this show. We wouldn't have known any better if they released that trailer a week later, and we would have been like, oh, here's the hype train 1 week until the Meghan Markle show. We would have known no better.
Yeah, it was a terrible, unbelievably terrible timing. She should never have done that. And we must remember, there's 2 other aspects to all of this. One is, where is Harry in her life now? We understand he was, lapdog filming her on the beach for that 2025 weird thing where she frolicked. Wasn't at all contrived, was it? Oh, look at me, aren't I lovely on the beach? Nah, not really.
Wait, but Kev, did you see how she'd been practicing 2025 on the left side of the sand?
Yeah, and also you can see,
my God.
And you can see Harry's sneaker footprint in the middle of the 2025.
His Frankenstein feet,
couple of amateurs. Anyway, but it strikes me, just briefly about Harry. So they got that advice. We know about the advice they both got last year. Don't be seen together. It doesn't do your image any good. For some reason, people don't like you together. Well, if you think about the events of the last few days, the 2025 and the launch of the trailer for the new series, Meghan now is cutting that guy right out of her life. I don't need him. If he appears with me, that's bad for my career. You get out of there. You can hold a camera if you want. You can film me for a bit. So he's going to take very much a secondary position here. And the other aspect we have to remember is this, what's it called, With Love Meghan. Should be Meghan with Love, shouldn't it? That's a better... Meghan, it's from Meghan with Love. Not With Love Meghan. That's the wrong way around. But anyway, it's With Love Meghan. So she's banking on this being the basis for relaunching, if you like, her lifestyle site, or dead style site, because it never seems to happen, American Riviera Orchard. Now, as I say, I mean, I may be wrong, but I think that this cooking show is going to fail. Therefore, as the bedrock for the relaunch of American Riviera Orchard, it's going to be a disaster. So what I think we're going to see in the first 3-4 months of the year, I think will be the end of Meghan's dream, her showbiz dream. She will see she's got nowhere to go. She can't produce TV shows. because she doesn't know what she's doing. Has no idea about film production. Her name is very toxic in Tinseltown after the Hollywood Reporter revealed her to be a bully in high heels who reduces grown men to tears. She's a bully to her staff. She denies it, but the Hollywood Reporter basically said, we stand by our report. We have 12 to 13 signed affidavits. You want to sue us? You go right ahead. Never saw the lawsuit, did we? So she's toxic. She's seen now in Hollywood as a terrible employer who can't keep her staff happy, who bullies them, and who has no talent. You know, she has no talent for producing television programs. She has no talent for producing movies. Maybe this cooking lifestyle show will work, but frankly, I very much doubt it. So where does she go after this? Nowhere.
I do have a serious, and I think we debated this a little bit last year, but looking at how everything has unfolded this year in the last few weeks, or in the last week, I should say, when you look at the strategy of them working apart, to me, Meghan is nothing without Prince Harry. I feel like the advisors realized Prince Harry is the strength, and he's the only thing that's going to he's their only hope.
Yeah.
And I feel like advisors are like, you need to cut off your wife. Maybe perhaps the way that it was explained to them was, you're stronger apart. You remind the world of how vengeful you were towards the royal family when you're standing next to each other, so go your separate ways. I don't think that Meghan comes off stronger when she is independent. I think that we're reminded that that girl wouldn't have gotten a deal with Netflix. That girl wouldn't have this cooking show. It's so bland. It's so boring. Do you think that the advice that they were given to brand themselves independently last year was really to save Prince Harry's butt? Because that is what I think.
I think you might be right. Now, Meghan's essential problem is this. She hasn't got any star quality. Stars always have something about them, a certain charisma. She thought that she could marry into stardom. If I marry this royal prince, I'll be a star. Well, what that marriage has achieved, she's well known now, she's famous, but she's not a star. You cannot marry into stardom. You cannot marry yourself charisma. You cannot marry yourself the X Factor, and that's her problem. She has got no star quality. She has no idea what's interesting to people, and that's why it's all failing. I mean, in terms of the image makers and what they said to Meghan and Harry, can you imagine anything more devastating? I'd have loved to be one of those image makers. You say to them, look, the thing is, you two, Duke and Duchess, goes like this. People really don't like you much on your own, Harry and Meghan. When you're on your own, people don't like you much. But when you're together, they really hate you. So stick apart. But the thing about Meghan, what's funny is she gets all this information. Basically, people saying, everybody hates you, Meghan. No. They can't possibly, they must love me. I'm going to make a lovely cutesy cooking show. Then they'll love me. She never gives up. Her belief in herself is endless. The trouble is, she's the last person on planet Earth who believes in Meghan Markle. The rest of us, we know the truth. She's finished, I think.
So I was talking to one of my contacts that works within the fold in your neck of the woods. And we were talking about how Meghan, while she probably thinks she is branding herself as the next Gwyneth Paltrow or Martha Stewart, really, she's just Fergie. We were talking. Think about it. Fergie's dining with the Duchess, making everyday meals,
Yeah.
a special occasion. That's Fergie's book.
Yeah.
If you think Fergie did multiple reality shows, one with Oprah Winfrey called Finding Sarah, From Royalty to the Real World. She did multiple reality shows where she was the lifestyle expert giving advice. And so when I was talking to this person about how the differences and similarities to Fergie and Meghan, they said that what does make them different is Meghan's temperament and charm compared to Fergie's. They said specifically, they said but Meghan is a professional at writing checks that her personality can't cash. And that, to me, describes exactly what you just said, that she thinks that she's much more charming and comes off much more engaging than she typically does to people. Why is that? Is it because we have seen them railroad the royal family over the last 5 years?
I'll tell you why that is because she is blind to her own multiple faults. I mean, this woman is riddled with faults, but as far as she's concerned, she's the human definition of perfection. She can't see that there's anything wrong with her. There's lots wrong with her, and that's the problem. And it's a really good analogy you just made about Fergie. I mean, all Fergie has ever done is grifted it. Has tried to cash in on being Prince Andrew's wife, being connected to the royal family. She's made money out of that all the way through the years. And Meghan is the heir to that lack of fortune. So Meghan is just grifting her connection to the royal family. It's all she's got. She tried to short circuit the Hollywood star system, and she's been found out. As I say, you cannot just step right to the top of the Hollywood ladder. She thought she could. Now, it's just maybe possible for someone with an amazing personality, an amazing talent, to somehow short circuit the system, be thrust right in at the top and be found to be brilliant. The trouble is, she thrust herself right in at the top and it exposed her for what she is, a two-bit sort of low-grade cable show actress, former Deal or No Deal high-heeled hostess, and a lousy boss, and that's it. There's nothing more to her. She doesn't have the talent to sustain the position that she craves, which is the top of the Hollywood tree. She hasn't got the stuff, and that's why she's in big trouble now.
Now, I presented this to Maureen Callahan, and she felt like Mindy Kaling was lying. But if you look at all of the media that has been written around Meghan's new show, the one star she has on her show that everybody mentions is Mindy Kaling from The Office. Mindy Kaling was asked on the Golden Globes carpet this week, we see you're on Meghan Markle's new show, tell us about it. And she was like, well, I was 2 months postpartum and Meghan called and said, hey, do you want to come be on my show? And wherever Meghan is, there's good food. So I did it. I looked up the date. So she had the baby in February. 2 months at the end of February, 2 months after that would have been April. And we know Meghan wrapped her show in April and between April and May. So Kevin, my question to you is Meghan standing around with the team going, we've got nothing. I'm going to make an emergency phone call and see if Mindy Kaling can come do this. Because to me, my girlfriend Maureen was like, I think she's lying. Look at her in full hair and makeup. Well, everybody's going to have full hair and makeup on the show. But my instinct when listening to that exchange on the Globe's red carpet was Meghan realized she was lacking something. And she picked up the phone and asked for a favor from Mindy Kaling, who has done a lot of favors for them. She also works with Prince Harry and does better up things. And for some reason, Mindy Kaling tolerates these people.
Yeah. Well, no offense to Mindy. But that is not exactly, kind of top of the A-list, is it? In terms of celebrity.
I know, you're right.
It's not Nicole Kidman. It's not Brad Pitt. It's a woman who was on The Office. Big deal. But you're right. Clearly, the producers or Netflix just said, look, if it's just you and your pretty pals, that's not going to be good enough. We're going to need some kind of star power. Well, as I say, no offense to Mindy Kaling, but she's not exactly at the pinnacle of the tree, if you see what I mean. So that isn't going to do that show any good at all. I can't see any, apart from a site's kind of car crash reason, what Meghan screwed up next. I can't see any reason to watch this series with Love Meghan. I can't see any reason. I mean, who needs it? And what you were saying earlier about, Martha Stewart and Nigella Lawson over here. Now, these are people with a track record. These are people with status. These are trained chefs. They know what they're doing. They're big stars on television. They've got a reason to be telling us this is how you make a cake. This is how you make nice hummus. What reason does Meghan have? What reason does Meghan have?
She was telling us she was the $4.99 Sizzler salad bar girl. She's eating at the salad bar. Like Martha Stewart was catering events. Yeah. No, that's a very good point. We only have a few minutes left. I thought about you the second I saw this story. Prince Harry threatening the NYPD.
Extraordinary.
This has, oh my gosh. Because you have said over and over again, this is Prince Harry's tantrum because he is not receiving the same amount of protection as his brother. This is mostly about ego. And I truly felt that in reading some of the exchanges between Prince Harry's security team and the NYPD. And just Cliff's notes, if our viewers don't know, some information came out over the holidays. Thank God for Prince Harry, because I think it would have blown up bigger had it not come out right before Christmas. Thanks to the Freedom of Information Act, the Daily Mail received some communication between the NYPD and Prince Harry's security team where they accuse the NYPD of a cover-up. They want people arrested for that May 2023 car chase. And they feel like the NYPD are doing something nefarious to protect these random photographers. So they're threatening them that they're going to file some sort of report against them. Prince Harry's throwing around his contacts like California Governor Gavin Newsom. And it really just gives you an idea of how entitled and paranoid and obnoxious Prince Harry can be. In one of the emails from Harry's security team, they said the Duke feels intentionally misled and is suspicious of a cover-up. Kevin, what was your first reaction when you saw some of that communication? And kudos to the NYPD for after that threat saying, you know what, you're going to deal with our lawyer going forward. We're out.
Yeah. Well, my reaction is the first thing to note about this alleged high-speed car chase through Manhattan at 80 miles an hour. You know Manhattan, you know New York, everybody who knows New York. No one has been 80 miles an hour in Manhattan since the invention of the car. The last vehicle to go that fast was probably a horse. No one does 80 miles an hour in Manhattan ever. So the NYPD, and if you remember the New York mayor, both basically poured a bucket all over that, just said, don't be ridiculous. Now, the next thing to note, it was May 2023. It is now January 2025. Prince Harry has been desperately calling for arrests since day one. Back in May 20. Arrest people. I want to arrest these mad paparazzis that nearly killed us. This was near catastrophic. The NYPD, yeah, thanks very much. And they've no one has been arrested. Therefore, the NYPD are treating this with a pinch of salt. And I got a message for Harry, if you're watching. He does watch our stuff. Wind your neck in, you pompous little entitled dork. He's a child in an adult's world. It feels like the NYPD were going out of their way to intentionally mislead him. Conspiracy theory nutcase nonsense. Really, it really is. So
I mean, pick up one newspaper, Prince Harry. New York City has way bigger issues on their hands. The amount of immigrants that have flooded across the border and ended up in New York City has overwhelmed the city. Crime is up. There are plenty of issues that the city of New York has. Prince Harry is not on the priority list. But I'm so sorry, I forgot to tell this one crucial part of the story. Now, the NYPD sent a letter to London police saying that while it was an unfortunate incident, they did not feel like anything illegal had happened to the point of arrest.
Yeah.
And then Prince Harry's team has a call with NYPD. And 2 or 3 months later, the NYPD, after that phone call, sends another letter to London police saying, oh, maybe we could arrest somebody. I mean, come to your own conclusion, but it certainly feels like somebody was bullied on a phone call to revise the letter to the London police. Is that the instinct you had when you read about that?
It's to appease Harry, that's all. The NYPD don't believe what Harry and Meghan said. They don't give a damn about this, but he's the prince. He's the Duke of Sussex, therefore they have to go through the motions. As I say, the mayor, immediately after this, was almost laughing when he talked about it. He goes, 80 miles an hour in Manhattan? It just didn't happen. Now, these two idiots, Harry and Meghan, they said, it was a near catastrophic car chase. Well, it wasn't. It was slow speed, everybody knows that. And secondly, what Harry's got to realise is no one broke the law. It is not, in a free country like America, and indeed in Britain, it is not against the law for photographers, for members of the press, of the media, to pursue celebrities, to pursue members of the royal family, to try and take a picture on public property, on public land. That is not against the law, and that is why Harry thinks it should be. Harry thinks he should be able to tell these photographers, back off, I'm the Duke of Sussex. Well, bad luck, mate, you can't do that, and they have every right to take your picture. So the NYPD from day one thought two things. One, there was no 80-mile-an-hour chase. They're exaggerating. They're gilding the lily, as we say in Britain. And second, there was no crime committed. It is not a crime for a photographer, paparazzi, film cameraman, whoever, to take pictures of celebrities and royal family members in a public place. So that's the whole thing. This was a nothing incident that Harry tried to whip up to persuade the authorities back in Britain that when he comes to Britain, he deserves armed police protection, and he's never, ever going to get that. And yet he continues to waste millions of pounds, millions of dollars, pursuing this lost cause in Britain. The man needs his head examined, he really does. And when I say man, I use the term loosely. He's a little kid.
Yeah, I was gonna, yeah, that's it. There's less exaggerating, man. Also, don't you remember that every media outlet agreed to not run the images from that night? So it's like you got your way, and in everybody opting not to run the images from that night, it almost set this new rule that, or at least I think some photographers thought to themselves, well, I'm not going to bother trying to get a picture of them in a way that makes them uncomfortable, because then I can't sell them. So it's like you got your way in a way. So why are you trying to elevate this? But you're right. At the end of the day, this is all just a scheme to try to get his way in London. He wants that special protection. Yeah,
that's what it's all about, Kinsey. It is about Harry and Meghan trying to pretend that everywhere they go, they are in mortal danger. And they are pursued, relentlessly pursued. Well, they weren't relentlessly pursued back in May 2023. I think they made that story up. They exaggerated it. That's certainly what the NYPD think. That's what the mayor of New York thinks. And frankly, that's what the authorities back in Britain think. So the game's up on all this, but he's such an idiot. He will continue to waste money trying to get armed police protection that he's not going to get. I mean, don't forget, in the pursuit of this armed police protection, he's asking me and millions of other British taxpayers to fund him when he comes to Britain. Why should we do that? What does he do for this country?
While his wife is renting someone else's kitchen and wearing thousands of dollars worth of jewelry while creating a frittata. Yeah, well, I also just want to stress really quickly before we wrap that Harry does get the protection he wants on a case-by-case basis. He is not unprotected. So there, you know, he acts unprotected.
In theory, he can, in advance, he can request armed police protection. But whether or not he gets that is another issue. He's not ever going to get it. He's furious because Taylor Swift got a police escort when she played Wembley over here in London, and he's going on about that. Well, you know, that was a bit dubious. We're all saying, why did she get a police escort? However, she got that, but there were no guns involved. There was no armed protection. So there's no equivalent there. He's just chasing a lost cause, and it's rather sad to see.
Ego, all about the ego. All right, agree with us, disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. Let us know if you're going to watch that new Meghan Markle show. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Kevin, I love you. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks so much for watching, everyone.